Welcome back to House of 1000 Haunts. I'm Stevie Stone.
And I'm Dwayne Stone.
Today's episode, we are headed to Rockwell, North Carolina to visit for the very first time BoogerWoods.
BoogerWoods has been around for 47 years, you guys. That's amazing. And it is a guided tour haunt, which you don't really see that often anymore. It is also a completely voluntary haunt. Not a single person there gets paid because everything goes to the funding of Cystic Fibrosis.
Yep, 100% donations go to that. So nobody's getting paid. So every bit of this is full of love. And guys, we are so excited to talk about this one. But before we get into it, let's talk about what we're drinking tonight. Of course, we went to Cookout after the haunt because we just left the haunt. We just left BoogerWoods, and it was late, and it usually is when we leave a haunt, and we like to go to Cookout. So I got me a sweet tea. Dwayne got the same thing. It's actually a huge tea because I'm thirsty. That's good. Like Dwayne said, this haunt has been open for 47 years. Isn't that wild? And he's been doing it as a guided tour this entire time, which is so cool. I don't think we have any guided tours on our haunt walkthrough playlist on YouTube at all. I don't think any of them have been guided. I've been to some when I was younger, and I even told him that I've been to some when I was younger. You don't really see that much anymore. And if you do, it's not always good.
They did this very well. It was very well. You can tell the reason they've been going for 47 years strong.
It was very well thought out. There wasn't any dead moments. They really kept you entertained the entire time. And it was really silly. Guys, they were so... They really... Fun. Yes, they really are into just like... I don't even want to say dark comedy. It was just like...
It was slapstick.
It was slapstick. It was horror and comedy, and it was so much fun. There was wrestling. Guys, as of the recording of this, it's been like 2 or 3, I don't even know how many weeks anymore, since Hurricane Helene came through and destroyed freaking Asheville, guys. And I haven't watched any wrestling at all, and I miss it. And there were some wrestling matches in this haunt tonight, and I thought that was really cool. What they do is, like we said, they do guided tours, but your ticket is for a specific time, and they only take through like 10 or 11 people at a time, and that's it. So neat. So you just show up at your specific time, and you get to go through. You don't wait that long if you show up at your designated time. They take your group and they put you in a holding tank, and it is an actual tank. We went inside and you are introduced to your tour guides. And our tour guides were Tonto and the Lone Ranger.
Apparently there are different sets of tour guides.
That's neat.
So we just ended up with Tonto and the Lone Ranger, but I'm really curious as to what the other tour guides are.
It makes me wonder, like, is it a little bit of a different show? Maybe, you know, it's tailored to your group, it seems like, throughout the haunt. Our tour guides get us started. We walk outside and we are greeted with a payphone. And they actually want us to call a taxi. And Dwayne was the lucky participant selected to call the taxi. And he had to try to use the payphone. That was funny.
And I guess I kind of hit some numbers, and he goes, "Look at you just hitting some random numbers." He goes, "Let me see that thing." And he grabbed it and he just hit some random numbers but faster. Couldn't get no answer, so we all just
yelled
the good old
for a taxi.
And
a big old bus showed up with lettering on the side that was like neon, glow in the dark. It said taxi. It was just a big bus with no windows.
Yeah.
Well, it had holes where windows were, no glass.
Yeah.
So it was just holes. And it was so wild because our group actually had extra people in it. There was 13 people. So I had to sit on Dwayne's lap, and oh my God, we went through a car wash, then they revved up the engine and started driving so fast and went over some massive bump. If you haven't seen the video on YouTube, it will be linked in the show notes below. I yelled. I was like, oh my God, I just bunny hopped. I caught air and lifted off Dwayne's lap into the air and went straight to the ground.
I hit the roof.
It was hilarious.
It was pretty crazy.
Are you okay? Did you get hurt?
No, it didn't hurt.
That's good.
It was fun.
I just went up and straight down. I hope we entertained our group. That was so much fun. I had so much fun doing that.
Wait a second. You ever heard about the Bulls and Ghouls Club? Living under a rock?
Oh my God, really? You haven't heard of it?
At the Bulls and Ghouls Club, you get exclusive content you can't get anywhere else.
Including members-only live streams, videos, discount on merch, so much more.
All of that starting as low as 99 cents.
Say what?
That's right. So click that join button down below and check out all the perks that you can get.
Join the Boils and Ghouls Club. We'd really love to have you.
I understand why they like to have enough people in the group. They don't want to just take like 2 people through. They want to have enough people in to get you interacting with the tour guides and the monsters, because the tour guides are taking you through and showing you everything, and they're also trying to protect you from the monsters, and they're also trying to survive the monsters themselves. It's really funny.
That's actually a good segue into the next section, because we're greeted by Georgie when we get off of the bus and we crawl through a tunnel into the sewers.
Yeah.
And the wrestling match commences.
This was our first introduction into some wrestling, because Tonto, one of our tour guides, attacked Pennywise when he popped out, and they just started having a wrestling match. I tried to tag in. I told Tonto, if you need me, tag me in, bro. It was so funny. Oh my God. It's really cool because Dwayne had mentioned that they just have a lot of like charming gags. So it's really a good time.
Yeah, it's slapstick and it's just dad humor, charming, good, clean.
But it's still funny. It's still funny. It was a good time. It'll entertain everyone. From there was a chainsaw sitting on the ground, and our tour guide, the Lone Ranger, told one of our other group members to grab the chainsaw, and we went into a small engine repair shop with this dude who was like 103.
That was pretty funny.
Because he acted all stumbly and
very slapstick.
And again, that was when it kicked in for me, like, oh, this is very slapsticky, because he kept trying to get up and he would fall, and he'd just do it in such a comical way, in such a large way. And then he went to work on the chainsaw, couldn't get it to work, and the music kicked in. Guys, they really enjoyed music here. So
it was all about setting the scene.
It'll be interesting trying to edit this video.
It was all about setting the scene and getting you into it, and it was like scenes from a movie. Yeah. That's what it kind of made. They wanted you to feel like.
Yeah, but they really they didn't like poke fun or make jokes of everything. It wasn't like a scary movie parody of nothing, but they just enjoyed the humor in it all. It seemed like that was really cool.
Very awesome.
That's kind of how we are with our haunt walkthroughs. After that was when we encountered a dude spinning on this large table spindle thing, and he jumped off, and it ended up having another wrestling match with Tonto.
Actually came out from behind it. He swung it open.
Oh, okay.
And it kind of came off the wall. And yeah, he had like a big bag on his head and stuff. He kind of looked like...
That was crazy.
One of the chainsaw guys from Resident Evil 4. If you've ever played Resident Evil 4, you know what I'm talking about.
So funny. So we got another wrestling match there. That was so good. Tonto was just wrestling everybody. So that's another thing. We wonder, like, do the other tour guides be wrestling the monsters like that?
All the tour guides wrestle? Yeah.
That's interesting.
That was fun, yeah.
We need like a tour guide wrestling show. BoogerWoods needs to have a wrestling event with the monsters and the tour guides. Oh! Idea. From there, we ended up in this really cool time machine where they used all these cool, like, red lights. That was really fun, and it took us right into this western area where we were encountered and rode a train. 2 trains, actually. One was a come on, ride a train, and we all started dancing, and we got in a train in a conga line.
Hilarious.
That was funny.
It was hilarious.
But then from that, we got on this like actual train setup, and again, if you haven't seen our video, check it out.
I think that was my favorite part of the whole haunt.
That was
just
so
the train.
neat.
I thought it was really cool. You felt like you were actually on a train and it was moving, and it was just really neat. It was really neat.
Yeah, and the windows. There was
Never
stuff
seen
in the
that.
windows as you were passing by, and yeah, there was just like sound, and the whole train was moving. It was so neat.
I've never seen that in a haunt before.
You've seen it in like theme parks, but not like in a
That's what I'm
haunted
saying.
house.
Yeah, like I've never seen it in a haunt
Yeah,
before.
that was so cool. After that, though, was one of my favorite things. The BoogerWoods Theater.
Theater was amazing.
Yo, the theater was the nest. Listen, it had actual theater seats in it. They were nice and squishy. The ones that are fold up. When you're little, you feel like you're going to fold up into it like a clamshell. But it was so neat. They had like the actual like opening credits, and it said BoogerWoods. It was so cool, and it started to show a horror movie, and with a monster with a chainsaw. Was it like actual Leatherface, or was it just like a?
It was a Leatherface.
It was like a Leatherface character.
I think it was the movie Leatherface. I haven't seen it, so.
Just one of the newer ones.
Yeah.
He busts through the screen like
great.
right at an appropriate moment when he is like coming towards the camera anyway. Busts through the screen. It was so cool. That was so fun. Like I'm very into cinematic adventures, and it's just so much fun when you can like set up a scene and help people feel like they're like in a movie. I really enjoy that. Like, thank you, BoogerWoods, for doing that for me. I had so much fun.
It was cool.
The Club Booger was a good time.
Yeah, that was a really good time. We all broke it down and was dancing.
Our whole group
Tonto,
was
you guys.
dancing, and Tonto.
Tonto was dropping it down low and having an amazing time, and he did like the worm and stuff.
He was a good dancer.
It was a good time. That was a highlight as well, in my opinion. Just
That was so
because-
much fun. It was so much fun. It was like so legit. They were spraying silly string too. That was funny. But then the music like kicked down. It got all metal like, and this big old monster came out. Holy crap!
That was cool.
That was awesome.
Yeah, it was awesome.
I loved it though. Just like the whole vibe, and like Dwayne said, like everybody was getting into it and enjoying it. They said you had to. Like if you didn't dance, you couldn't leave. So everybody was dancing. It was really fun.
Boogerastic Park was really fun, and it was really cool. We went in this room with this waterfall, and you start hearing snakes everywhere.
There was a skeleton there
Oh, yeah,
under the
skeleton
waterfall
was under the
because they had
waterfall,
already ate
yeah.
somebody.
Yeah.
And from the wall was one of their, like, I think their only animatronic.
Yeah, this big giant T-Rex head comes out from behind the waterfall, and I'm almost positive that was the only animatronic in the whole place.
Yeah.
Everything else was practical effects.
Which is awesome.
Yeah, so it was very, very cool.
Booger Arts was another cool one because you go in and and the Lone Ranger told us that it was just a collection of Tonto's drawings.
Oh, yeah.
And it was a room with neon paint everywhere and a porta potty that you walk into with a spinning tunnel that, guys, was literally the slowest spinning tunnel we've ever experienced, and it made me legit dizzy.
It was really good. However they figured it out to make it do that was
It was
awesome.
perfect.
it looked like that the end wall was spinning and not the actual tunnel.
It was so wicked.
It was really good.
Like we've said before, one of my favorite ones is at Lake Hickory Haunts, and it legit like takes your knees out. This one did too, and it was moving really slow. I thought that was wicked. It like still gave you the similar feeling, but it did it in a different way.
Yeah.
We also encountered a tornado while we were in there. That was funny. It was like a tornado simulator thing, and it was spinning, but apparently it was a real tornado because when we came out, the Lone Ranger had been flown through a structure. That was funny. He was like laying off to the side again with a slapstick. They were so silly, like all over. I just couldn't.
It was fun.
I loved it. Another one I really loved was the Museum of Monsters.
Yeah, we get into an elevator and go down
so
into
cool.
the Museum of Monsters, and that was really neat. That was one of my favorite parts too, because I just like museum stuff like that, and yeah, it was really cool.
It was cool because it was monsters. Sam, my son, was even in there from Trick or Treat, and they left one of the best for last. Daddy, it was Pinhead from Hellraiser, and he actually ended up like coming to life and coming out of his cage and attacking everyone. That was really fun. That was also the same room where I had to kiss a pig and he spit on me.
Yeah.
It was very rude. And then I had water all over my jacket.
This was a huge haunt. It was a good like 30 to 40 minutes, and it culminated with an amazing effect. Something actually very similar to what we saw at Reaper's Realm, but it wasn't putting you in a box. You were in a cage, and it kind of sucked because Dwayne did not get to get in the cage with me because there were too many people. There was a couple extra people than there normally were in this group, but I got in the cage. They tilt you backwards, and you see Michael Myers on top of this facade and Jason Voorhees below, and Metallica just kicks in. And apparently Freddy Krueger was somewhere off to the side because I ended up seeing him later during all the fiasco.
Michael Myers was in an electric chair, and they electrocuted him.
They electrocuted him. It didn't work.
Jason was hanging.
And it didn't work. Could you see Freddy Krueger?
I couldn't see Freddy from where I was at.
Okay.
But whenever the music kicked in, guys, I didn't realize that Jason was real.
And he just came to life.
He came down because it looked like he was hanging by his neck.
With a noose.
And he just ching came down, and I was like, whoa!
Wild.
Yeah, very, very cool.
When I was in the cage, like I said, it tilted backwards, and they jumped on the cage and started attacking us. And the cage eventually tilted back up, and there were parts above that where they could walk around back and forth. And
metal platform.
Yeah, and Michael Myers got into the cage. I started freaking out. It was so crazy. It was just a really wicked setup how they did this. It was so interactive. You were safe the whole time. I didn't get hurt. I didn't get hit. I didn't get attacked. You were safe. It was so much fun. I really liked it. Like I said, it was very similar to Reaper's Realm, but it wasn't like a buried alive thing. It was, you were just in a cage, so I didn't really get like the main concept of why you were in a cage and being tilted backwards, but I loved it because it was so immersive and interactive, and it was just a massive stage show for a really good ending.
It was very cool.
Once you make your way out of there, they had to protect us again because Freddy Krueger tried to attack me again, trying to get through the door. You exit right through the gift shop, into the gift shop, and also into some areas where you could take some selfies and some pictures. It's really nice. It was a really cool setup. I loved the decor. I loved how they decorated everything. Again, guys, if you have not seen our episode of the walkthrough of BoogerWoods on YouTube, I will have that linked in the show notes notes below so you can check it out because it was really cool. Again, all the proceeds go directly to charity for
Cystic fibrosis, to help cure cystic fibrosis.
Yep, it all goes for that, and that's so awesome. And they've been running for 47 years. So if you're in the area, in the Rockwell, North Carolina area, it's somewhat near Charlotte.
About 30 minutes from Charlotte.
Yeah, not too far. Be sure to check them out. They're super awesome. They do have a website. I'll link their information in the show notes below, so you can check them out if you are in the area. It's really fun. I loved it.
Totally worth it. Definitely go check out BoogerWoods, you guys.
Yeah.
I had such an amazing time. It's a different kind of haunt than most people are used to, and I think that's fun. It's definitely fun to do something different than what is everybody else.
Yeah, just a conga line walking through, or even just a regular walk through. It really is immersive scenes that you get to interact with stuff, and you have guides with you to keep you safe, to go the direct way so the monsters don't get you. Really cool. Thank you again to BoogerWoods for letting us film and inviting us out. We had so much fun. So guys, as always, thank you for listening to the podcast. If you enjoyed it, be sure to give us a follow and a 5-star rating. It helps the podcast get out there, other people to find it, and it helps us continue making this podcast and making our YouTube videos. We love doing this. It's so much fun. We're haunt enthusiasts, and we just can't help ourselves. We love the spook, and we want to bring the spook to you. Yeah. We are Destination Stone on YouTube, and this is House of 1000 Haunts. Bye.